Michael Beattie, the St George captain, brings the Dragons out now. They've won 8 of their last 9. And this is the team most fancied to play Brisbane in the grand final. Tremendous performance in 1992 under the coaching of Brian Smith. Veteran of many St George battles, Michael Beattie. Let's have a look at the full list now for you. The St George side. Ivan Henjak there. Joined up with St George again from Western Suburbs this year. Scott Goulet won his green and gold jumper against Papua New Guinea last year. And now Illawarra comes out for their biggest occasion in rugby league, their first semi-final. Some people say that it can't be done, but a Cinderella story could easily unfold in 1992. Both the Steelers and the Knights are there, proud to be there and entitled. Let's have a look at that Dragons card now. Potter at fullback, Walford and Heron the wings, Coyne and Beattie the centres. Then it's Peter Coyne at 5'8" and Ivan Henjak at half. Mackay, Goulet, Barnhill, McVean, Priddle and Collins make up the forwards. Bill Dunn just adjusting the headgear as we look at their side. Riolo at the back, Wishart, McIndoe the wings, Rodwell, McGregor, formidable in the centres, Simon Neal the halves, then Cross, Pinchinelli, Dunn, Teachell, Waddell and Skiffaletti. Referee for the match is Graham Annesley, with Illawarra in the red jumpers, running from right to left. Kick-off time to the semi-finals. John Simon, who had a taste of Origin football at this stadium this year, kicks off. Barnhill it is, the first St George player to get a touch of the ball. Potter getting away from dummy half, just outside the 22 line. St George boasting strength in the forwards, Illawarra in the backs. But it's going to be that battle in the engine room that will decide the result. That's Big Priddle taking it up.
And a smart start there by St George. A lot of dummy half running, one out running, the kick back to Brad Mackay on the last. He's got a good one down, almost over Riolo's head. He mishandles. This guy can run the football.
David Riolo, one of the young champions from Illawarra, has been there since the inception. McIndoe comes away. 15 metres away from his own line. From Skiffaletti it goes away. And this is Craig Teachell. Waddell, been a strong performer for Illawarra right through the year. Now to the right it goes for Bill Dunn. Skiffaletti. Simon to clear. Potter going across. Heron is with him, the winger on the left-hand side of the ground. Michael Potter wrapped up by the kicker, John Simon.
And they need that kind of involvement from John Simon. As I mentioned in the opening, they are without the services of Ian Russell, Dale Fritz, a couple of key players not there, and that means that John Simon's involvement must be even more.
This is McVean wearing jumper number 48. Right on the halfway mark. The major preliminary semi-final is underway. The softening up period just a couple of minutes old as Goulet plays it to Henjak, who gives it to Mackay. He gets away from Skiffaletti, but he's wrapped up and tackled midway between the 22 and the halfway. On the Steelers' end of the ground, Peter Coyne drops it onto the right boot. David Riolo's there to cover. He's wrapped up by Walford in number 2, Beattie in number 4. 10 metres away from the Illawarra line. Michael Neal, the red-headed player, in number 7. And McIndoe is felled 15 away from his own line. Waddell. Right on the quarterway line. Illawarra really yet to see any of St George's territory. Cross. Another youngster that's been with the Steelers and done well. 21 years of age. Bad pass from dummy half. Taken on the second bounce by Michael Neal. Wrapped up by Wayne Collins and also Brad Mackay. Skiffaletti the dummy half. Fed back for Simon to clear. Charge down! Chance for Collins! A mile of time! There's a try! Collins gets a try for St George.
And that's a great start for St George. They've played the game very well so far. Steady as you go, and the defence has been good. They kept Illawarra pinned in their quarter. Now this kick, the long 15-metre pass, that's great enthusiasm from Collins, and he just simply had to pick it up and dive over. I thought he could have looked right. He had 20 metres to run in, but first points go to the Dragons.
We've mentioned throughout the season that sometimes taking the option of a charge down does count against you. We've seen them go over the sideline, 6 again to the team kicking the football. But on this occasion, Wayne Collins has been able to score the first points after only 3 minutes. As Paul Vorton points out, that's great enthusiasm. And they now lead. That's his first try of the season. Not a bad time to score one.
The only thing about that was you've really got to criticise Illawarra. Normally when that long pass is thrown back, there are 2 players back there, one to cover the other person. On that occasion, Simon was on his Pat Malone, and that's why the try was scored. Sideline comment, Steve Roach.
Yeah, Fatty, I'd be a bit disappointed with Illawarra. They're caught right down on their own half, and they haven't been receiving the ball right on the advantage line. They've been opting to pass it right back. The other hand, St George, they've got some great dummy half runners as Collins, Brad Mackay, and also Ivan Henjak coming in and take the pressure off his forwards. Illawarra will have to mix their game up a bit.
Ian Heron. They were searching for a goal kicker, Ian Heron. Now they've found one. Very correct round the corner kicker of the ball. Strikes it from 25 out, but it's just wide of the uprights. So St George, they grab first blood, and they lead Illawarra by 4 points to 0. I've got to say, though, I was amazed at the amount of time that Wayne Collins had. After he got the charge down on, he had nobody within yards of him, and he had a mile of time to pick it up and put it down.
Well, that's what Paul was pointing out, that there was no option for the Illawarra team in their kicking game. Once the charge down was executed, it was all over.
St George with the ball just outside their quarter-way line. Collins, the try scorer, wrapped up by Cross and Skifoletti. Now Priddle, giant of a young man, making a mistake. Will it prove costly? Neal to play it. No marker. Neal's able to pinch another 7 metres, but he runs into the front-on tackle of Goulet. Now it's with Tietzel. St George are hitting very hard. From Skifoletti away now for Pincinelli. Taken by Barnhill.
Gee, those St George markers are working very, very well. Barnhill on that occasion sprinted out the mark area and got him easily. And once again, St George have come out wide, leaving Simon with no option. Couldn't get the ball to his outside supports. Had to go on his own.
Skifoletti chances the long ball. Heron gets a hand to it, but goes over the sideline.
Well, Pete, that's not semi-final football, is it? You know, you're 5 minutes into the game, you're down 4-0 and throwing cut-out passes.
No, you're talking about the occasion, and it was important as to how Illawarra were going to react to that try scored early against them. They forced the mistake. Priddle came up with the drop ball, but then on the last tackle, well, they just went for too much. Skifoletti nearly putting the winger away. He'd have just about run the length of the field.
Now the Illawarra backs, they get their first taste of it. John Cross comes in wide, takes play down to the St George quarter-way line. They need to strike back quickly, Illawarra. Through 2 sets of hands for Neal. Inside goes McGregor. McGregor taken by Brad Mackay.
But no support on the inside. If he had picked up a runner there was a gap right in the middle.
Mackay making a good tackle on McGregor, who gets up a bit slowly. Ball played by Billy Dunn. Skifoletti looking to the right, no runners. Uses Tietzel on the left. Inside ball for Neal. Might have been a touch forward. Ball played 7 metres out from the line. Tietzel shows it. That's the turnover to St George.
Not the best option I've ever seen. The Steelers, I know it's only early, but they've just got to get their game together. They've had a big back line to the right, many players in an overlap, but, you know, 2-on-2 down the blind, they were never going to score.
Ball played by McVean, given by Henjak for Goulet. Goulet almost makes a break. 4-0 in favour of the Saints. A try to Wayne Collins. Barnhill getting through a tremendous amount of work in the early part of the game. Henjak works it left for Priddle to be hit by Waddell up the top. Cross was underneath from Henjak now. Across to Peter Coyne, defence up quickly, uses the alternate kicker Michael Potter. David Riolo comes back towards the halfway mark. Sideline comments, Steve Roach.
Yes, I think the occasion has got to the Steelers a bit. The St George side seems a lot more settled early in this game.
Here's Wishart getting his first touch of the ball. Rodwell has gone into dummy half, decides to go himself, makes 10 metres, good ground by Rodwell.
That's better, they need a follow-up now. Here comes Tietzel.
Tietzel with a short ball for Pincinelli.
And if David Riolo had stayed alive out there, they'd had an overlap. They've got one now. Skipperletti's got a winger unmarked outside him, decides to go himself. There's McIndoe under the posts.
McIndoe gets the try for the Steelers. I said earlier they had to strike back quickly, and that's what's presented itself. Good quick thinking by Skipperletti.
And didn't they do it well? The Steelers back in the game. They'll be in front in a tick. But this all came from a drop pass or a loose ball. Pincinelli here, and the ball goes backwards. Walford, I don't know, he's gone in to cover up the ball, but hasn't succeeded. Skipperletti 2-on-1 situation. The dummy went. McIndoe positioned himself beautifully. Barnhill could have done a little bit better, but McIndoe, the best finisher in the game.
Well, poor old David Barnhill was left in two minds there as to what to do at the end of that movement. But Ricky Walford was the man that came in, didn't wrap up the football, and that created something out wide. Skipperletti looked as though he should have passed the football, but he decided to take on the fullback, and that's a beautiful pass. The hand went up in the air from Skipperletti, and McIndoe scored under the posts.
Yeah, what Dave Barnhill did, he's had a good start to the game, but he took his eye off the player, took his eye off McIndoe, who he had covered, and McIndoe's just stepped inside, and away he went. That's a great fight back by the Steelers.
Rod Wishart from right in front, just 9 metres out. Certainly will send Illawarra to the lead. Just over 10 minutes gone in the game. 11 goals for the year for Rod Wishart. An easy one for him from right in front. Raises the flags and raises the hopes of the Steelers fans. They lead by 6 points to 4. Tremendous fight back so quickly by the Illawarra side. They were playing catch-up football, really, it looked like, when there was no need for it. A show of nerves in the opening minutes of the game provided a try for St George. So back now for the kick-off. Peter Coyne sending it down towards the Steelers try line. They'll be lifted by that try. Rodwell is wrapped up by Priddle and by Beattie.
It's amazing, Peter, isn't it? What just an instant decision made, like the one Ricky Walford made then. You know, he probably should have, first penalty of the match, it's gone to the Steelers for the markers being inside, not covering properly. But Walford made that decision to go in, and if he stays out, this try probably doesn't get scored, but he was trying to do the right thing and cover the football.
Well, the little things in these games do change the course of events, and that was one of those occasions. I thought the promising thing for Illawarra before that try was the fact that Rodwell had gone into dummy half, made an easy 10 metres, and from the ensuing play they did create a backline opportunity if David Riolo had have stayed alive. As it turned out, Skipperletti was on hand to pick up that loose ball. But the Steelers starting to warm into this game. They reacted well to that early start, and they now find themselves in front on the scoreboard.
Steve Roach.
Yeah, if you have a look at St George's defence, they play that compressed sort of defence where they play 10 metres off the sidelines. And if Illawarra can shift the ball and get on the outside of them, they're going to be a big chance in this game.
Here's Waddell throwing a pass that needn't have been thrown. Picked up by Brad Mackay for St George. Now McVean. Tietzel on McVean. Just on the St George side of halfway. Potter. Henjak away for Brad Mackay. 6 points to 4 in favour of the Steelers. Barnhill taking the tackle, offloading for Collins, and he takes play down to the 32-metre line. Now the long ball out for Peter Coyne. He goes to the air. First bomb of the game. Came off Michael Beattie. He then kicked it into David Riolo. And so the turnover goes to the Illawarra side. Just outside their own quarterway line from Schifoletti for Simon. Oh, gee, John Cross juggling it. And the referee has ruled that it was propelled forward. So he's going to put a scrum down.
Well, that's an enormous mistake on the 22-metre line. There's John Cross juggling the football, hit by Goulet and Mackay. The ball forced out. Simon cleaned up. But this is a great attacking opportunity. Centre field scrum. They are set up to go both ways.
Fed by Henjack, won by the Dragons, comes right, picks up. Mark Coyne draws the defence. McIndoe got a hand to it, and he's going to be forced in goal for the line dropout.
Well, he won't mind being forced in goal because he just saved a try. Coyne just beat Rodwell point blank there with a sidestep, and it was going to lead to try. There's the right footstep. Rodwell left on the ground. Luckily, McIndoe got the hands up because they wouldn't have caught Ricky Walford.
And what a great covering tackle, classic lock forward covering tackle by John Cross.
Simon with the drop kick restart. It's a good kick too, all of 50 metres. Potter decides to send Barnhill back to the defence of Pincinelli and Rodwell. Henjack lets Priddle go as a decoy. Waddell wraps him up. Wayne Collins serving it up for McVean. St George getting over the advantage line with ease at the moment. Collins now for Peter Coyne, able to get it away. Henjack goes to the left, turns it up the centre for Potter. Potter brought down 15 metres out. Away now and a bad pass. Knock on by Peter Coyne, but he got a bad ball. (6-4) in favour of Illawarra. Watching the major preliminary semi-final at the Sydney Football Stadium around Australia on the 9 network. Simon. Peter Coyne around the legs. Brad Mackay over the top. Cross.
Good play by John Cross there. The rest of the Illawarra pack are walking. It's still early in the match. They should have run to get in position there.
McIndoe put over the sideline. Was able to get the pass away though. Schifoletti promotes the ball up towards halfway.
Well, Alan McIndoe is a player that's sometimes criticised for not getting involved in games. He's come up with 3 key plays already in this game, scoring the try initially, saving one after the break made by Mark Coyne and getting that ball away to Michael Neal early in the tackle count.
McGregor pushes away from Beattie, slides away from a second, but he's pulled down 35 out from the line. Now for John Simon to put it on the right foot. Up it goes and coming down towards Michael Potter. No pressure for Potter as he starts to ruck it away for St George.
Michael Potter not under pressure there. He'll catch those all day. In fact, if I was going to put the bomb up against St George, I've no doubt I would go to Ricky Walford's wing. Sometimes Ricky doesn't go up for the football, tries to catch it standing still. I do think if Illawarra get the chance, they will be going to that left side of the field in the air.
Heavy tackle on Priddle there. This is McVean. Right in the centre of the park, 32 metres out from their own line. Scott Goulet, one man off the ruck, and Illawarra trapped inside the 5, so the penalty goes to the St George side. Never inside, never outside the 5, the Steelers.
McNeil, the man at fault there, the old warrior, little red-headed halfback, there he is. I think since he's come back in this Illawarra side, they've really lifted. He's just all around the traps. He backs up, he makes breaks, he covers in his defence, and he's leading them into the semis.
There isn't a player who reacts better for Illawarra than him. Well, that's a big mistake then. Not finding touch, St George there. Rod Wishart able to catch the ball and bring it 32 metres out from his own line. And Neal is everywhere. When they get in trouble, he's the first man that looks to see where somebody needs to be covered.
Ball played by Waddell. Now taking it ahead and hard is Rodwell. 7 metres from the halfway line. To the left for Pincinelli. Wide now for Tietzel. Comes to the halfway mark. Wrestles with the opposition. Able to get a ball away. Now Rodwell crosses the halfway mark, but he's put down. Surprised at the number of times players under pressure are trying to squeeze the pass in this game so early on. 2 points in it, Illawarra leading by 2, and almost 20 minutes of the game gone. Neil punching it down into the corner. Potter's on a long run across there. Lets it go, so there'll be a St George loose and feed 5 metres out from their own line after 18 minutes.
We're almost halfway through the first half of this game. Steve Roach, does it look as though we're going to see a replacement brought on?
Yes, Neil Tierney's coming on, but I'm not sure who he's going to replace. But Sterlo, I don't know if you think the same thing. This game lacks a bit of sting early.
Well, I'm glad I'm not out there, Blocker. I've got to admit that from the physical aspect of it. But I think both of these teams just really relying on not making mistakes. We've seen a couple of drop balls, but defensively they're getting 2 and 3s in tackle, more intent on stopping the football and putting the man on the ground than I think trying to put him out of the game.
Now it's with Collins. 2 tries in the game, one at a very early stage, scored by Wayne Collins off a charge down, his own charge down. That lets St George go to the lead 4-0 early on, but then some great lead-up work by Skiffaletti, and we saw McIndoe score. McVean comes off and Tierney goes on for St George. As St George pick up a penalty against the Steelers, interfering with the man attempting to play the ball.
He did a good job too, McVean, when he was on there. There's the incident, done just hanging on. But McVean hit the ball up 6 times in the opening stanza. That's a good effort by him.
Michael Beattie taking the penalty kick for line. A kick that failed to find touch the previous time. Collins taking the tap. Tierney wants the ball. On there, only a matter of seconds, and he's inside the 32. A big man, built very solidly. And here's the ball coming loose again. St George pick up another penalty.
Well, interesting to have a look at this. Skiffaletti is the man that is penalised for reaching over in the play of the ball. I thought he got a pretty good strike here. Well, mate, no, he didn't get back in front of the man playing the ball, and the referee rightly so awarded the penalty. Heron will now look to even up the score 10 metres in on the far side of the field.
Just looking at the indication from referee Graham Annesley, I think he eventually pinched Skiffaletti for being all over the man playing the ball, and given that today we're going right around Australia, some people watching rugby league, you must not interfere with the man playing the ball, nor he with the man marking him. Ian Heron from an acute angle, 10 metres in. He's about 28 metres out. Takes his time over it. 21 minutes of the game gone. Crowd probably around the 28,000 mark here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Heron gets it away. Looks okay, doesn't it? Yes, straight between the uprights. St George draw level, 6 points all. You don't mind how long they take if they get the flags in the air, Fatty.
No, great kick, and that's another thing. Ian Heron came into this side halfway throughout the year, and he put on something like 45, 50 goals in that time. He won some games for them that possibly they shouldn't have won just through his goal kicking. And it's great to have a goal kicker of that type in your side.
Simon sending it down for the fullback Michael Potter to carry it back to his own 22 line. So a try and a goal to both sides now. Walford.
And this is probably a good time to just see how effective the defence now is after 20 minutes. We've seen the St George team go 3 rucks now, and they've got it outside their 30 metres, so they're not finding it too difficult to make ground. Again, Brad Mackay, he's taking the ball almost 10 metres, so they'll be kicking the football from almost on the halfway line.
Priddle's busted them! Tries to slide it for Mark Coyne. Play breaks down for St George, but an opportunity made by Neil Priddle.
Good run by Priddle, who just lashed out on the edge of the rucks there, ran through Simon like he was a speed bump and just kept going.
Tony Priddle, I beg your pardon. Now Wishart slides into the open, gets inside the 40, still going, no support. 30 metres out from the line. Away from Neil, through Pincinelli. Now it's gone out for Rodwell. Rodwell can see the corner. Did he get it down? No! Referee Annesley rules no try.
Well, what a shoulder charge there from Michael Potterson. Controversy here, the crowd are booing, but the referee in no mind says Rodwell. He beat Walford. Let's see if he gets the ball down. No, jolted out. It wasn't Potter, it was Peter Coyne. Great tackle.
I think it's hurt Coyne more than it hurt Rodwell. He's still down and back play down, injured. Getting up slowly now, but that was a try saver. Great run by Rodwell, who ran away from Walford, something you don't see very often. And over he comes. Didn't try and tackle him, just bumped him out of the way.
Well, that was the only way he was going to save the try, wasn't it, Paul? He just put his body on the line there. We've seen another replacement, mate. He's up now, Peter Coyne, swinging the arm around. There's his brother, Mark Coyne, getting some attention. May not be replaced. Well, he has been. Number 41 in Tony Smith has gone on. But, gee, that could be a turning point in the game. Peter Coyne.
I think it's blood bin, Sterlo. It's a blood bin. Sideline comments, Steve Roach.
Yeah, it is a blood bin. Mark Coyne's got a cut on his right eye. They're just going to fix it up.
Now Priddle tries to make the gap again. 40 metres out from their own line, the Saints. A narrow squeak for them back there. Tierney comes to the halfway mark.
Might be a bit worrying for Saints coach Brian Smith. 3 times now Illawarra have thrown the ball out wide and they've made 3 gaps. Remember, McGregor made a good run out wide on the other side there a while ago, so they've got some problems out wide in defence.
Riolo tries to make the field of play, does well. Henjack wraps him up. Rodwell, taken by Michael Beattie. Now McIndoe. St George defence tight. Schifoletti. Well, they've taken 4 plays and they've lost the ball. Struck by Michael Neal. Knocked on, I believe, by Barnhill.
Oh, big play there from Michael Neal. He took the odds to nothing. We have seen penalties awarded for kicking out and the play of the ball, but he timed it well and he's forced to knock on. Barnhill gets up shaking the head. They had big numbers to the left there, St George.
Once again, you had to question whether Mick Neal was actually standing in front of Barnhill or on the side of him.
So John Simon plays the ball still inside their own 22. Riolo dances away from a tackle. Gets it out 30 metres now. Safer territory for the Steelers. Wishart. Now Woodell. 6 points all. We're about 13 minutes away from half-time. Pincinelli. Right on the 40-metre line. Last tackle. Simon for the kick. Smith went through for the charge down. He's put a bit of pressure on Simon, but he finds the line. I thought for a moment it was going out on the full. Scrum will go down midway between the 22 and halfway St George's end.
I think about 28,000 people and 26 players thought that was going out on the full. Off the side of the boot from John Simon. It's the second time in the game that it has gone off the side of the boot because of the pressure applied by St George. Henjack now feeds the scrum, picks up Tony Smith, 30-odd metres out from his own line.
Peter Coyne going into dummy half. He shuffled out in the back line to be playing in the centres with this man playing the ball, Michael Beattie. Tony Smith slotting into 5'8". Henjack. Right on the halfway line. From Collins it goes to Coyne. Long ball wide for Goulet. Inside ball for Priddle.
Gee, that was a great piece of play there by Mick Neal. You know, he wasn't even on that side of the defence. He saw they were short, so he filled in, eventually made the tackle, and it was a good one.
Peter Coyne now. Putting it over the right-hand side of the ground, but McIndoe lets it go for Illawarra, so the scrum will pack down just inside the Steelers' 22 line. Score 6 points all in the first of our semi-finals for 92. th minute of the game. Let's go to the sideline. Steve Roach.
Yeah, Ray, David Walsh has just gone on for a very tired Craig Teachel. He had a good first half.
McIndoe to play it. Penalty goes to the Steelers. They haven't seen many of them, but they'll accept this one gleefully. 32 metres out from their own line. Simon is in the centre of the ground looking for the touchline, finding it just on his own side. Scufoletti coming up to take the tap. This is David Walsh. Picked up and driven back by St George's defence. Cross runs the decoy, Waddell takes it ahead. Gets it out the back, promotes Rodwell inside the 32-metre point. Potter puts him down. Now they need the quick play of the ball and the spread of the ball. Pincinelli, right on the quarter-way line, but it's a penalty. St George inside the 5, and this should be easy for Rod Wishart.
Well, good momentum established there by Illawarra. First, it was a great ball from Steve Waddell out the back to Brett Rodwell, who is getting in and getting involved on every opportunity. And then the next play saw Pincinelli go up. Ivan Enchak was up very quickly, and he was the man most responsible for giving away the penalty. Only 15, 16 metres out, almost right in front for Wishart. He's kicked one from one already. Steve, both teams look good when they get the momentum. It's just a matter as to who can play well defensively in those situations, and St George, well, they were well offside then.
Yeah, it certainly is, Peter. Whoever hangs onto the ball, now, I've had a few drop balls, but each side's making ground when they've got the football. I've been very impressed with Scott Goulet. I'd like to know how many tackles he's done. He's done a mountain of work.
I get the impression, Paul Vorton, watching the game unfold, that the Steelers, they got away to that nervy, that shaky start, but they've started to settle down a bit.
I think they're playing a great brand of football. They're the ones who are making the good metres and making the breaks. Saints so far have only made 1 or 2 clean breaks. Illawarra 5 or 6, and I think they're just slightly on top of this stage.
Wishart from right in front. It's only about 16 metres out. 6 points all. Takes a couple of dances on the one blade of grass, and he misses it. Well, damn it, says Wishart. Oh, he knows it. Well, the try that wasn't a try for Rodwell. And now a missed goal from right in front. The Steelers might live to rue these 2 points in the game.
Well, that's unbelievable. Fairning, I reckon you could have kicked that, Rabbits. Left-footed, blindfolded, on one leg you could have kicked that.
Don't be so sure. Rodwell plays the ball. Dunn gets it away for Pincinelli. Right in front. Fair dinkum, you'd bet 10's on. Walsh. Almost to the halfway mark. Big strapping lad from the northwest of New South Wales, Waddell, formerly with the Panthers here in Sydney. Couldn't get a go in first grade, transferred to the Steelers, and has had a great season. John Simon, wearing the number 6 jumper with Dale Fritz, sidelined with injury. Michael Neal, away from Collins and from Tierney, puts the kick in, keeping the game plan uppermost in his mind. Heron comes away for St George. Neal was the first man there. He's really putting in plenty of yards. He's covered plenty of ground. Crowd booing the referee. They're claiming that the Steelers are not back the 5. Let's see if Annesley is going to be refereed by the crowd. Henjak now, right on his own 22 line. Coyne comes away. Not Coyne, but Beattie, in fact. This is Coyne. Riolo getting right underneath it. He's played at the ball. Everybody's onside for St George now. Riolo gets it back 35 metres out from his own line. Wishart. little bit of crowd starting to creep over the Sydney Football Stadium, putting a shadow across us at the moment. These people intensely watching this battle, the young Illawarra club against one of rugby league's giants, St George, at 6 points all.
We're getting into that all-important danger period now. Just under 7 minutes to go in this first half, and Illawarra doing it very well. Michael Neal, a little chip over the top, over Walford's head. Good chase from McIndoe, cleans him up. But the field positional players certainly swung around. Illawarra down in their own line for the first 5-10 minutes of this game, but they really have enjoyed good field position in the last 20 minutes.
Priddle bumping away from a shoulder charge by Woodell. Taken by Pinchinelli. Now it's Tierney's turn to take it outside the quarter. Round the legs was Neil Pinchinelli again. Cut out ball, picking up Barnhill. Pulled down, 35 out from his own line. Peter Coyne. Riolo now on a run over to the right-hand corner of the ground. It may go over the dead ball line. It does. So back to the 22 for the restart for the Steelers. 6 points all and under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Schifoletti, captain of the side. Bill Dunn. Pinchinelli. 40 metres out from their own line.
And that's only 2 plays and they've gone 20 metres. There really is a lot of ground to be made out there. A team that can control the football the best and take advantage of the opportunities. Certainly Illawarra have created the better ones. Wishart away up the middle. Rodwell getting involved also. And this is the man who I think has got to come into the game a lot more in the second half, Paul McGregor.
From Neal now, goes to Dunn out wide, even wider cross and even wider. Pinchinelli gets a pass round the corner. That was a classic pass. McIndoe kicks ahead. McIndoe and Potter. No try. Oh, what a pass from Pinchinelli.
You'd go a long way to have a look at that, wouldn't you? Neil Pinchinelli got one around the corner. I was surprised that McIndoe decided to kick at the end of it. I know he's got great speed, but he gave Potter time to look at this. That is magnificent. Around the back of Walford, he didn't know where it went. Just gave time for Potter to turn on that one. Didn't get his hands to it, and, well, it's just gone over the dead ball line. Another close shave.
Well, one-on-one, McIndoe and Potter. I thought he should have gone himself. He's got speed, he's got a change of pace, and, well, maybe, but he put the kick in, took the odds to it, but Potter covered it up. But that pass from Pinchinelli, actually, referee signalled it came off Walford. And so that's why the pass was allowed to continue.
Paul, I thought actually McIndoe had a little bit of room to move when he took on Potter as well.
Had plenty of room, I'd have taken him on.
Goulet plays it right on the halfway mark. Henjack turning it inside for Collins.
Would have been the same result, no try.
You're not wrong.
How many opportunities have Illawarra had? So many close calls. As Peter Coyne gets the ball down into the part of the field where St George want to play it.
And it's to be hoped, Rabs, that those sort of opportunities, the missed goal from in front, the missed try, don't come back to haunt them in the second half, because St George are a good side. They've been very consistent this year, and they finished very well on in their games. And Brian Smith, I think he can't wait to get them at half-time and tell them, you know, where to sort of get over the top of Illawarra in the second half.
Yeah, well, our viewers in Adelaide today that were at the Adelaide Oval to see them play Brisbane will well remember Brisbane having a big lead, but St George, they came back, as they've done so many times this year. From Michael Neal now away for Rodwell. What I like about this fellow Rodwell, if he's not getting ball, he goes in looking for it. Schifoletti comes away. Good yards by the captain. Simon supports, takes it out to the 32-metre line. Western Suburbs won the President's Cup today, beating Brisbane. Newcastle won the reserve grade, defeating Penrith. Now it's Bill Dunn, wrapped up by Brad Mackay. Schifoletti for Neal. Wider now. The cross to give to Pinchinelli. And over the touchline. Good strong defence out there by Mark Coyne.
There was good sliding defence here. Wishart, you see him running through. Pinchinelli couldn't get the ball away. Two-man tackle put Pinchinelli over the sideline. This will be the last scoring opportunity for St George. 2 minutes left to go on the clock. The back line not set that deeply. Peter Coyne will pick up Michael Beattie. He'll just take the defence on himself, actually trips over before he gets to them.
Beattie playing the ball. Henjack goes for a scurry out from dummy half. They keep going to the left. This is Tierney. Oh, heavy work in there. Good work by Simon. He got underneath and Waddell cleaned him up over the top. Goulet, short ball for Priddle. They like to scout together. Goulet and Priddle. From Collins, a nice pass for Peter Coyne. Then it goes astray. Cleaned up by Mark Coyne, 40 metres away from the Illawarra line. Peter Coyne now dances around Pinchinelli, gets his kick in, and it's Riolo bringing it back. Now he finds McIndoe. McIndoe goes inside. Michael Neal was unmarked on his inside. Neal now looking to pick up a runner. Finds his captain, Schifoletti. Right on the halfway mark. Walsh, put down by Collins, away for Neal. Cross cleans it up. One-hander, taken by Rodwell. McIndoe's unmarked. Goulet's coming at him, but McIndoe scores. Illawarra gets their second try.
And they've finally done it right, the Steelers, deserving that try. They're playing some great football, keeping the ball alive. Scott Goulet came over and cover. He couldn't get McIndoe. McIndoe's got plenty of pace, even though he's getting on in years. And the Steelers, they'll go to a half-time lead. Great try to the Steelers just before half-time, that danger area. Only 30 seconds remaining on the clock. There's some nice passes here, one from Walsh. Now Neal, this one, beautiful hands by Cross onto Rodwell. Walford's missed him. He's had a shocker on the wing in defence, and Rodwell just simply had to draw Potter, and McIndoe, away he went.
Well, Alan McIndoe gets his second try of the day. Tremendous lead-up work. Players keeping it alive.
That's a bad defensive lapse there by the winger there in Walford. He should have had him covered. And Rodwell, beautiful pass out to McIndoe.
Sideline comment from Steve Roach.
Ray, they got some very underrated forwards. That was great hands from John Cross there. You don't see many forwards doing that, and also Neil Pinchinelli having a great first half of the Illawarra Steelers. That's a second try they scored off a bit of a fumble. The scrambling defence from St George isn't that good.
Rod Wishart has got this attempt at conversion.
Nice pass by Dave Walsh in their two blocker, wasn't it? He drew two or three of them, just popped one out the back to Mick Neal.
Yeah, that's it. If he can stand in tackles and offload the ball, the St George defence isn't scrambling that well, as we just said.
Once again, though, another breakdown the St George right-hand side. We've seen that a few times today, Ray.
We certainly have. Illawarra has tested St George out wide. Talking about out wide, Rod Wishart is as he prepares for this one. 9 metres in from touch, 22 out. I like it. It's a goal for Wishart. So the Steelers, they go to the break, leading St George 2 tries to 1 and 12 points to 6. More of the Rugby League semi-final action coming to you in just a moment on the 9 Network.
St George taking the field for the second half. And let's have a look at those first half statistics. The first 40 minutes of football, and most of it does favour the Illawarra team. A great amount of time in possession. That allowed them plenty of attacking football. They had the ball well and truly over St George in that first half, and that allowed them to come up with quite a few line breaks, 5-3 there. The handling errors weren't as bad as St George, 6-4 for the Saints. And the missed tackles is the big one, 12-8 for St George. We saw a couple of bad ones that led to tries, and in semi-final football, they are going to be the ones that kill you.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear, though I doubt that Blocker was able to get into the St George room, just what Brian Smith had to say to them. He's back on the sideline now, Steve Roach.
I've got a couple of spies up there. Brian Smith is asking the St George side to watch the flop back. If they're going to play that compressed defence, if the Illawarra side can stand in tackles and flop back, they're going to get around them. Also, he said that they've got to scram better in defence. It doesn't seem like they've got the numbers all the time. In the Illawarra room, Graham Murray, he wants Illawarra to fix up their play the ball, also support the ball carrier, and then shift the ball wide after they've gone forward early.
What's your gut feeling now, Steve?
I still think St George will win this game.
Second half getting underway now. Peter Coyne with the restart.
Is that the new rugby league talk, is it, Ray? The flop back and the scram? I could coach.
John Cross held on his own 22 line. This is Teetsel back with us again. Waddell. Dunn tries to make the break just on the edge of the ruck. Tomorrow we come back and we do it all again. Of course, the major game tomorrow, the sudden death match between Western Suburbs and Newcastle. Simon away for Schifoletti. Flicks it out the back for Teetsel. Teetsel loses the ball. Danger! Pinchinelli tries to clean it up. Referee rules knock-ons both ways.
Well, that is absolutely crazy play by the Illawarra team. It might have been last tackle, but you just want to hand the football over if you can't get a kick away. Teetsel did well to be back there, eventually dropped the football, but that pass from David Riole to initiate things, that's not semi-final football, Paul.
Funny thing was, though, Sterl, it was only the fourth tackle, but because a scrum has been packed, it was a fifth, it would have been a turnover.
Chance now for the Dragons. Michael Beattie tries to make the break. 35 out from the line. Mackay ran decoy. Goulet wrapped up by Michael Neal underneath and Waddell over the top.
That's been the tackle of the match. Goulet's 45 foot tall and Neal just covered him up beautiful and does another one.
And Goulet had two men outside him against one.
Barnhill now. 32-metre line. Long pass out to Peter Coyne. Tierney out wide. They've knocked on St George. It's not happening for the Dragons today. Michael Beattie making the mistake. But there have been a high incidence of players trying to squeeze the pass out under pressure in this game today. Simon with the one-hander for McGregor, who by comparison with Rodwell had a quiet first half. Pinchinelli. Strong performance from him. Goodly part of the season was spent out with injury. Simon away for Teetsel. Illawarra leading by 6. 12 points to 6 if you've just joined us somewhere around Australia. First of the semi-finals of the 1992 Rugby League Winfield Cup. Waddell. Five tackles gone, so Schifoletti gets out from dummy half, grubbers the ball along the ground to find the line just inside the 22. Talented player.
And really revelling in the captaincy role as well, which Graham Murray gave him the honour of a couple of weeks ago. His last couple of performances have been very good, and he is leading by example. He seems to have grown in stature a little bit with his responsibility around the rucks, and that little C next to his name certainly hasn't harmed his game at all.
Henjak. Long pass for Potter. Taken and put to ground by Simon. Walford comes to dummy half. Brad Mackay carries the ball. Pinchinelli wraps him up. Henjak again. Priddle. Dunn goes up, accepts him. Priddle, giant of a youngster. What's he stand? 6'5" something like that?
6'4.5", I think, right?
Is it really?
Well, he's got to be about, if Goulet's 45 foot, Priddle's got to be about 44 feet high, Fatty.
About that.
Goulet playing the ball now. Collins turned inside by Coyne. Potter uses the kick. Wishart falls back inside the 22. Gets a nice bounce. Ring of defence around Wishart. Driven back by the St George defence.
Now, it's always a good sign for a side, the players who get back into position after those kick returns. You've got Mick Neal, he was first man there. Rodwell's now going to pick one up along with Waddell. That's a good sign that they can get back on side so quickly.
Neal, Waddell out wide. Henjak did well with Barnhill to wrap him up. The referee has called timeout. Bill Dunn has been ordered to the blood bin. That would probably come as a consequence of his tackle on Priddle that we called and saw just earlier on.
And a fair bit of heart being shown here. Craig Izzard is the replacement player. Has got a broken wrist. We read about it during the week that Johnny Lewis, great boxing coach, He's got some special strapping for him. There's the big hit on Dunn, and that's where he got opened up. Craig Izzard, gee, he's done a marvellous job to get out there, and he'll be looking to get the football in his hands as soon as possible.
Simon to play it. St George trailing by 6. And desperate defence by them in the opening minutes of the second half. Skiffeletti. Potter is underneath it. 15 out from his own line, crosses the quarter. Izzard makes the tackle. Formerly captained the Illawarra side during the season. In fact, they've had several captains. Skiffeletti is the third of them. McIndoe and Izzard, they had the job previously. From dummy half goes Mark Coyne, Queensland origin player.
Nothing fluent about the St George play, Sterlo, is it? Just mainly one-out stuff. You know, here's a chance here with Goulet, but I haven't seen them with a backline movement. They're not getting set.
No, I think that we talked about that first round victory to St George over Illawarra, where they were beaten 21-8, and they did that through the forwards, and they've coped pretty well out there, the Illawarra team, and the likes of Priddle and Goulet have handled them pretty well and wrapped the ball up, most importantly. So I don't think they're getting that kind of second phase play that they're looking for, and the forwards putting the dent in the opposition to allow them that space for a backline shot.
Steve Roach, we talk about teams coming into the semi-finals for their first visit and how the inexperience would probably go against them. But Illawarra, no matter what happens today, just how much will they benefit from an outing in semi-final football?
Well, they certainly won't be as nervous next week if they win this game and they play Brisbane, but they've got some very experienced players. Although they're young, they've played a lot in the Winfield Cup, and they've also played in the Panasonic Cup, or the Tui's Cup, which it is now, and they won that earlier in the year.
Michael Potter. Brad Mackay goes out from dummy half. 7 minutes gone, second half. Here's Priddle.
Paul, I suppose the fluency you're talking about hasn't stemmed off the likes of Peter Coyne. I thought he was the key man at 5'8". Once in the first half, he looked to bring 3 or 4 runners off his shoulder, and he did open something up there. He didn't throw the football on that occasion. And I again think that's what they've got to look to do. Get Coyne involved. He does draw some defenders and try and open up something on his shoulders. They've gone wide to George. Mark Coyne almost through, picks up Heron. Great tackle, Michael Neal. Another try saver.
Oh, sensational tackle by Neal. Heron's blowing up like a good sort. You're kidding. No try. Mick Neal got you.
Well, here it is.
Mick Neal comes over. Beautiful tackle. Classic round the legs. Now he's held here. I think he gets up and places the ball.
There's the elbow there on the ground.
He gets up and claims the try.
Izzard now. Skiffeletti. That's what the Steelers really have to do in the second half. Just play it safe, simple plays, nothing fancy in their own territory. Cross. St George, on the other hand, will be willing them to try and do the fancy things on the wrong end of the field. Simon puts it down for Potter. One of our very best fullbacks, Michael Potter. 35 out from his own line.
And Mick Neal down there again, the first chaser there.
28,500 here today. Mackay gets around McGregor. Mark Coyne goes inside. John Simon makes a valuable tackle. Peter Coyne. Tierney. One-hander back. Came off Pincinelli. Should be 6 more. It is. Henjak plays it. Collins. Gula. Short ball. Mark Coyne. Forward pass to Heron.
Well, that was a desperation pass, and that's not what it's called for. That was only second tackle after the restart of the tackle count once again. They had created an overlap down the blind side. In that situation, you've got to play the percentages. As Jeff Hardy in jersey number 40 takes the field, David Barnhill, the man replaced. So George starting to open up a few cracks in the Illawarra armour. They still haven't been able to convert the points, and that's similar to what Illawarra weren't able to do in that first 40 minutes.
Michael Neal playing. From Cross to Simon, now McGregor. Meteoric rise in rugby league this year for Paul McGregor. Here's Skiffeletti. If he's not a dummy half, he pops up somewhere in the back line. Now Rodwell. As I said earlier, if he doesn't get the ball, he goes and finds it. Reaches the halfway for Wishart to cross it. Wishart flung to the ground by Hardy. Crosses the dummy half. Neal. Potter. Back on his own line. Not a good chase by Illawarra there. They went to sleep on the kick.
Well, Craig Izzard actually called Paul McGregor to come up on the outside of him. McGregor did not react. That enabled Potter to run a further 10 metres.
Hardy plays it back for Collins. Henjack is with it now, Goulet. Pincinelli's with him and so is Cross. Matthew Elliott about to come on for St George. Priddle did well. Beattie is with the ball. Steve Roach.
Well, I'd like to see St George. I'd like to see Ivan Henjack get out of dummy half and get the first receiver and have players like Scott Goulet working a bit wider off him. Also Tony Priddle.
Ball played by Hardy. Collins looking for the line. Oh, Riolo flirting with danger. Henjack chases Riolo and Mark Coyne makes the tackle. Neal. Rodwell. The nucleus of the Illawarra side. It must be, what's the word I'm looking for? Rewarding and refreshing for those people on the Illawarra. Nucleus has been with them since the concept. Skiffaletti. 12-6 the score. Illawarra leading St George. Simon. Potter. Able to bring it back 15 metres. Wrapped up there by McGregor and Wishart. Steve Roach.
Matthew Elliott just about to come on for Wayne Collins. But just talking about Illawarra, if you look at their reserve bench, there's a lot of players that have a lot of experience in first grade, and I think they've got a lot of depth there.
Hardy. Rodwell and Waddell wrapping him up on the halfway mark. Priddle. Izzard in 21 makes the tackle.
While we're wrapping the Illawarra team, the thing that I do like about them is that they're not just prepared to do their own work, they're prepared to take responsibility for the player on either side of their shoulder. There's a good kick there from St George, drive the ball down. They are prepared to take responsibility for their teammates. Bill
Dunn getting ready to come back on. Score 12-6 in favour of Illawarra. So the scrum forming about 15 metres away from the Steelers' line.
Craig Izzard leaves the field for the Illawarra team. Michael Neal will feed the ball 12 metres out. And nothing silly again here from the Steelers. Michael Neal picks the ball up, feeds to Rod Wishart, and he makes a good 5 or 10 metres almost to the 22.
Tietzel. Illawarra just rucking it away from their own line. Cross. Gets it about 33 metres out. Pincinelli. David Walsh about to come back on for Illawarra. Graham Murray starts to shuffle his interchange players around. McGregor, Wishart, Simon. Simon finds a half break opportunity. Skiffaletti dropped it onto the right foot and it's gone out on the full.
He was unlucky there too. That one was the last tackle. He did a good job of holding off the defender, knew he had to get his foot to the ball. And unfortunately, the ball just landed on the line about 20 metres downfield.
Now an opportunity for St George. Hardy plays it back to Potter. To the right for Peter Coyne, now for Priddle. Tietzel comes off again for the Steelers. Potter. 25 minutes to go. Henjack. Peter Coyne. Tierney. Henjak. Smothered into defence by Neil and Goodell. Tierney. Dummies inside, turns it outside. Goulet puts it on the ground. Neil cleans up for Illawarra.
Well, who else would it be? Have to be McNeil, wouldn't it? He's having an absolute blinder out there today. And Waddell, he's done plenty of hard work too, been very impressed with his performance. Illawarra, their defence has been good at this stage, at 65 minutes or 60 minutes into the game. McNeil, great play by him. Clever use of interchange that Graham Murray is doing now can get a side home. Some players tend to get a bit tired at this stage, and if you get some freshmen on there, John Cross makes a good run.
If he gets into space, they won't catch him. That's how fast he is, this bloke, for a second rower.
I was just about to say that a little bit of a lull in the game now. Both teams looking for some inspiration, some individual brilliance. John Cross is one player, can provide that. We are just looking for something, a game breaker out there, the kind of play that Wally Lewis has come up with at representative level, just to break this game wide open.
Walford. Bill Dunn makes the chase and makes the tackle. Potter. Michael Beattie. He, more than anybody out there, would know that time is running out in this game for the Dragons. Mackay plays it. Collins with it. Loser of this game will come back next weekend to face sudden death football against the winner of Western Newcastle tomorrow. 5:30 through 7:30, our Sydney telecast tomorrow. Riolo.
As this season has shown, there's so little between all these teams that really it's going to come down to a very close game of football, and again the value of the field goal is going to be important. 12 points to 6 in favour of Illawarra. With 20 minutes to go, I'd be looking to get down there. We've seen Brisbane kick a couple in the last few weeks. St George won a match last week by 1. Here's a penalty to Rod Wishart, who may think about having a kick at this one. That would be better than a field goal. That would be 2 points.
At least 38 metres out.
It'd be a test for him to see if he could kick this dead, because that's pretty important to kick this ball dead. But they're debating it, but they will put it into touch. John Simon, the man to do that job.
Well, I'd be trying to score the try in 5, and if not, put the field goal over for 6.
Commentary team today, including Peter Sterling, Paul Vorton, Blocker Roach, all Australian internationals. As Neil finds Pincinelli. 7 metres out from the line. Skiffaletti away for Walsh. Now they're 3 metres out. Dunn runs the decoy, Cross goes for the uprights.
A lot of room for Rod Wishart back to the right if they come this way. They decide to go left through Michael Neal.
Neil, rubber kick, Rodwell and Potter. Potter puts it over the dead ball line. Good set of 6 for the Steelers.
Well, the ball set up nicely there. It looked as though it was going to run dead and the pressure would be off, but Michael Potter was forced to play at the football. Michael Neal stabbed it through. I don't know if the runners knew that was coming. Potter had to bat it over the dead ball line.
Well,
Steve Roach.
It was only third or fourth tackle, Sterlo.
I would have went along with Sterlo there. I would have worked in for a field goal. That would have they would have had to score 3 times then.
George taking their time, bringing this ball back into play. Neil getting underneath it. 40 metres out, Dunn takes it back to the enemy.
Well, with the fact that Potter had to play at that ball, they now have the opportunity to do so again as Wayne Collins leaves the field. Elliott on for St George. That second tackle, they're just outside the 22. They are going to have a good opportunity late in this tackle count once again.
Skiffaletti for Neil. Walsh coming off the short pass from Michael Neil. Right in the centre of the ground, they're 22 out. Dunn. Now they're 18 metres out.
John Simon, the man positioning himself, acting as though they're going the left. Will it come back to Simon now? It does for the field goal.
Simon can't get it in. Charged down by Mackay. 6 more tackles. Simon comes up with the ball.
Yeah,
Neil.
Good pressure by Mackay. Neil makes a little break. I think Illawarra's going that good. They should go for the try here and see what happens at the end of it. But they're playing good football and making easy yards, such as Waddell then made an easy 12.
Skiffaletti, the dummy half. Pincinelli running the blind side.
Well, that defensive line from St George is very tight. Wishart does have a lot of room out on this right-hand wing. And that's where they're going to go. Michael Neal picking up a second man in
They've got
McGregor.
behind the defence. McGregor! He puts it down! Third try for the Steelers! McGregor scores! Beautifully orchestrated play.
Well, you're a good judge, Paul Vaughton. You thought they should go for the try, and that's what they've run in. 16-6 with a kick to come. Only 20 minutes left on the clock. And it was good second man play from Michael Neal. McGregor, the man running into the hole. There's the decoy players in close to the ruck. Brad Mackay went up much too quickly, and McGregor with his great footwork, well, he had too much ease there to beat Michael Potter. Plenty of room to work in.
And I think they've just booked themselves a date against Brisbane next week. What a great game that'll be. But this is beautiful play, a great set play. Give Graham Murray, their coach, some credit here. These set plays don't come off that often, but when they're perfectly executed like that one was, McGregor finds himself in the hole, an easy try.
Well, how many times would they have rehearsed that play this year, Paul Vaughton?
Well, no doubt it's something that Graham Murray probably has been saving for a semi-final or a big game. They've put it on, and it's come up trumps. Saints, they're not happy. Mick Beattie's got to try and get them going. Saints just aren't doing anything at this stage.
I think that kind of try is what we're saying that St George aren't coming up with. They're not getting that second phase play going where they're getting room for their backs. And this is an easy kick for Wishart. We've seen him miss one. I think he'll be clued in on this particular attempt.
2 out of 3 for Rod Wishart. This one he makes no mistake with. The Steelers lead the Dragons 18-6. Well, that's a lot of work for St George to do now, Paul.
Yeah, a lot of work when you consider the way they're playing. If they were playing a little bit better, Brian Smith must be, very deeply distressed the way they've played today. They've just been off their game for some reason. Illawarra, full of enthusiasm and youth, been over the top of them for the whole of the game.
Steve Roach.
Yeah, well, Mick Neal lucky to get away with that there. The referee could have got John Cross for a shepherd.
So 18-6 in favour of Illawarra over St George.
And what about a field goal now, Steele?
Well, a field goal, if the game's not beyond St George now, then they were 13 clear, it's all over. They can start thinking about next week's game. But of course, the fact that these two teams did finish in second and third position this year means they have the luxury of getting a dusty performance out of the way and not being put out of the competition. That's the elimination game tomorrow between Newcastle and Western Suburbs. A loss today, it's not the end of the world. It just means that little bit harder work to do. And there's the man, pretty happy, Graham Murray, Ray.
Waddell throws a reckless ball back, accepted by Cross. 38 metres out from their own line. Leading by 12 now. Simon punching it down towards Walford's wing. Walford making his way back to the 22 line. Smith plays it. Potter. Not impossible, but a huge task faces St George. Down by 12, 16 and a half minutes to go.
Well, Michael Beattie just ran 10 metres and there was not a support player within another 10 metres as McGregor nearly gets it on the toe. Goulet cleans up. He'll be tackled just inside the halfway. Gets a great ball to Heron who keeps it alive. A little bit of desperation the St George team now, but what I was saying with Michael Beattie is that their support play has to pick up now if they're going to run some points in.
Smith weights the ball down towards the line. Riolo now.
Been very safe today at the back, hasn't he? He's done everything right. Brought the ball back well, made no mistakes. And there hasn't been an ordinary player in the Illawarra side.
We saw David Riolo at one stage pick a ball up from a kick only 2 or 3 inches inside the sideline. It was a dangerous piece of play, but to me it's an enormous show of confidence in his own ability. There's a big mistake made there. Oh, it looks like David Walsh with the head down. And this is the opportunity that St George are looking for with 15 minutes left on the clock.
Crowd of 28,500 here today. 9-6 the scrums to Illawarra. Hope you're enjoying this one from the Sydney Football Stadium, no matter where you are around the Nine Network in Australia. Mark Coyne stands, tries to deliver. Ball comes down to McIndoe. Wraps it up on his own 32-metre line. Waddell.
Well, I'd say that we'd see Alan McIndoe replaced almost immediately. A player who's carried injuries throughout the season. He is limping. He looks as though he's gone. He's going over the sideline. A 2-try score out there this afternoon. And that's another ominous sign for the Steelers. He knows he's gone straight away.
And looks like Ryan Girdle, the man who's had a lot of first-grade experience this year, kicked a lot of goals for them, scored plenty of tries. He's the man who's come on the field already. And jump at number 15.
Simon. That came off a St George player to another. Heron. 3 metres their own side of the halfway. Mark Coyne pursued and caught by Paul McGregor. Priddle. Dumped onto the ground by Skiffeletti. Smith, Tierney, inside ball for Elliott.
That's something they have been trying all day, the inside pass, but the Steelers' defences have it covered all day.
Goulet now. Waddell drags him down underneath. Dunn comes over the top. Henjack works the blind side. Tierney decides to kick. Wishart cleans it up. Steve Roach.
I've been a bit surprised by Neil Tierney's game today. He's a power player, generally breaking tackles, and he's trying to be a ball player, passing before the line instead of trying to break the tackle.
Girdler plays it back to Neil. Off for Skiffeletti. Rodwell's on his outside. Tackled 40 metres out from his own line. Neil away for Dunn. To the halfway mark he comes. 18-6 in favour of the men in red. Cross. Put down by Smith. Right on the halfway line. Neil. Looking for the line down in the corner. Heron decides to let it go. Scrum will go down right on the 22 line.
Well, there's a very disappointed man, Alan McIndoe, leaving the field. Disappointed personally, but very happy with the team performance and his own performance with the 2 tries. He's got a smile on his face, and the fact he is walking back unaided is a good sign for the coming weeks. I do believe that if Illawarra are going to go through to a grand final, the likes of Alan McIndoe need to be out there.
St George now backs to the wall with Mark Coyne trying to make the break. Gets it 24 out from his line as Henjack gives it to Mackay. He's wrapped up by 3 Steelers. 30 metres out. Henjack away to the right for Goulet. Potter's with him, but he can't get it to him. Midway 22 halfway. Saints into the ground. Smith around the back, finding Hardy. Across Priddle, a face ball for Elliott. Elliott 12 metres from the halfway mark. Away goes Priddle now up the blind. Gets a good pass to Heron. Heron's into space. Full back to beat. Beats him easily. And Heron gets the try. Denied earlier on, but not this time. St George's second try.
And that's some brilliant evasion from Heron after a magnificent ball from Tony Priddle down the blind side of the ruck. He really put a good move on David Riolo, the fullback, but Priddle did the work. He took on Neil. Wishart came off his wing. That allowed Heron a free run. And there's, well, that's great play. Look at that for evasion. Riolo well and truly caught by that move from Ian Heron, and that's opened the game up. This conversion is successful.
Well, nothing was happening for the Saints, but Priddle took it upon his own to do something, charged into 3 of them, popped the magic pass, and Heron didn't know he had that step in his kit bag, and away he went. Great try to Ian Heron. Now he'll attempt to convert his try and put Saints, they're not dead yet, the Dragons.
18 points to 10. Heron, a chance to draw the situation up to 18 points to 12. And then, of course, a converted try. And extra time would be right upon us. 20 metres out. Similar margin in from touch. Strikes it. Oh, he looked like he went to sleep on it. No goal. 18 points to 10 for Illawarra. Tremendous pass by that man, Tony Priddle.
Had a great year, Tony Priddle, hasn't he? He was a Neville nobody at the start of the year, but now he's made everyone sit up and take a look at him. He's got a lot of skill, runs hard, and doesn't shirk anything in the defence area at all. He's done 21 tackles today, hit the ball up 12 times to lead the Saints in that area.
Steve Roach.
Isn't it great to see a bloke not shy to use his ball skills? Tony Priddle's got him and he uses them.
9.5 minutes of time remaining. This is Hardy. Brad Mackay. Henjack away. Tierney runs the ball out to the 32-metre line. Cross around the leg, Simon over the top. Henjack across looking for Priddle. Finds Elliott. Fortuitously it comes down for the big man Goulet. Played back to Hardy. He reaches the halfway line. One-hander away for Smith. 5 metres into Illawarra's territory.
And where was his support? He needed 3 or 4 players who were waiting back for this next play to come up with him. Keeping the ball alive, St George. A little one over from Priddle. There's some men there for the Saints. Potter on to Walford.
Oh, great ball! Tremendous ball! Michael Beattie! Beattie's going in to score! St George! They're down but they're not out! Oh, Potter did magnificently!
Well, you cannot afford to relax in a game of football. It goes 80 minutes. There's only 71 of them gone. And it's 18-14 with a kick to come. Last tackle, again there didn't look to be anything on. Again Priddle is involved. A little kick over the top. Potter got a miraculous ball to Walford. A bad miss over there on the far side. I thought Walford would have enough speed to score, but even better, Beattie was on the inside and improves the position.
It's taken them 69 minutes, but the last 3 have seen Saints actually put some good football together. And this is a great play. Walford missed tackle by Riolo there. First mistake he's made all day, and the inside ball, and Mick Beattie, he knew. He's experienced, he knew where to put the ball down. Well, the Saints, they're coming marching in. And Illawarra, they've gone to sleep.
18-14. Committee meeting for the Steelers. Heron. 7.5 minutes to go. This goal for 18-16. He's got it. Saints are back within 2 points of the Steelers. The Dragons fans, they come alive.
And what an important miss there from Ian Heron. That last conversion attempt, it wasn't that difficult. The try before, trying to convert his own try. 18-16, John Simon will need to drive this well down towards the try line, and they need a good chase. Here's Jeff Hardy taking the ball up.
Pulled down there by Waddell. He's worked tirelessly for the Steelers today as he makes another tackle on Mackay. Henjack away for Tierney. St George inspired by the last passages of play. Henjack goes away to the right, and again Waddell makes the tackle. Hardy away from Pincinelli. Smith. Riolo has turned around, back to his own line. Good chase down the ground by Smith.
These 3 replacements that Brian Smith has sent on in Tony Smith, Matthew Elliott.
Jeff Hardy's
another crocodile. Jeff Hardy, they've done very well for the Saints. You know, they've added some enthusiasm. There's Elliott and Hardy in that tackle, and they've lifted the Saints. That's been the difference.
Played by Cross, and Waddell carries the football.
And you can bet there'll be some pressure coming through on this kick now. Maybe not this play, but the last tackle. It'll go back to John Simon or Michael Neal.
Look at the St George defence now. Here's the kick. Simon's kick goes only to the halfway. Potter comes back. 32 out. First tackle on this set for St George. Goulet. Henjak. Smith. Priddle.
They've got some space out wide too, St George. They need to get some numbers out there.
Henjak has read the play. They've gone to the right. Elliott. 4 3/4 to go.
Well, I sweep back to Scott Goulet out here. No, they've gone back to blindside. Michael Potter, a lot of defence there. You'd think this one would be a bomb. Plenty of chasers. Henjak out of dummy half, the little chip.
Riolo with the work to do. Can he get back into the field of play? Yes. Gets back by 2 blades of grass.
Magnificent by Riolo. That's unbelievable. He had Walford in front of him and made the big lunge for that try line, like he was trying to score a try, but it was the other end of the field. Lunging and get back into the field of play, and St George now, the defence is getting better.
Walsh.
I just want to make sure they don't give away a penalty here, St George. Get back with the referee, because this kick again is going to be under pressure, and it's not going to take them out of their own half.
Cross to play it. Skiffaletti away. Oh, Neil nearly dropped it. They spread the ball. McGregor makes a big run. 30 metres, finds Richard. Richard for Neil. He puts it down. Bangs the ball into the turf.
Well, something nearly came out of nothing. There was a mix-up on the final play. Michael Neil wasn't supposed to get the football, but he had McGregor unmarked outside. Back to Wishout. A bad pass to Michael Neil. The ball breaks down on the halfway line. St George, 3.5 minutes left.
Ball played by Hardy. Pass by Henjak for Smith. Tries to stand up, Pincinelli. 3 metres into Illawarra's area. Potter plays it. Now it's from Hardy for Goulet. Sensational finish. Steve Roach.
St George have got to look to move this football. They're only going 2 passes wide or running from dummy half. If they're going to win this game, they've got to look for open spaces.
Last tackle for the Saints. They've only gone 10 metres on 5. Elliott with a desperate ball inside for Hardy. He kicks ahead. Riolo fields the ball for the Steelers.
Ordinary kick, Jeff Hardy. Very ordinary kick. A nothing kick that went straight to Riolo, relieved all the pressure that they had been mounting on the Illawarra defence.
Well, I've got to blame Matthew Elliott as well, running out of dummy half. He was never going to do anything down the blind side of the ruck. Got a basketball pass back in, and that threw everything out. They didn't know what to do at that stage.
2.5 to go. Izzard is back with us for the Steelers.
They've got to get in the St George half, Illawarra. They must get down there.
Back and away from Skiffaletti for Pincinelli. The Spaghetti boys do it together. Pincinelli to play it. Skiffaletti for Izzard. Izzard's 40 metres out from the line. 5 tackles gone. What will they do here? For the corner, I would expect. Rubber kick from Simon. He regathers. He passes. He finds Walsh. Walsh passes. And it's off the ground and a penalty to the Saints.
Yeah, desperation there for the Steelers. I can't blame David Walsh. He was desperate. It would have been a turnover anyway. Threw one off the ground. Now the Saints get a relieving penalty.
Yeah, a little bit far out to kick for goal, unfortunately for them. A long way to go.
Well, it's only 90 metres. But now, the last throw of the dice for St George, as far as this weekend is concerned. 1.5 minutes. They take the tap free with Ivan Henjak, 33 out from his own line. Tierney is accepted by Izzard. Henjak works it right for Smith. Further on for Potter and now Goulet. Goulet reaches the 40-metre line and beyond.
And Mick Neal's playing behind the line for Illawarra to cut off any breaks that are made.
Now Big Priddle. He starts to stretch out. Pulled down by Pincinelli. St George are wide to the left. That's where they're coming. Out to Henjak on the halfway. Tierney for Coyne. Coyne for Elliott. Elliott inside. The ball goes down. Ruled forward.
That's the ball game. 50 seconds remaining. Illawarra, the defence has hung on. Great defence out wide by the Steelers. They were short, but they slid in defence and had the Saints covered.
What an exciting finish to day 1 of semi-finals. Illawarra had St George down. but they've come back magnificently, the Dragons. But the Steelers, they seem certain now, with only 20 seconds to go on and play Brisbane next weekend. St George will play the winner of Newcastle and Western Suburbs. And that's tomorrow. You'll see it all again. Rugby League from headquarters here in Sydney. 5:30, 7:30 for Sydney viewers. There's the siren. The Steelers, on their maiden voyage in semi-final football, have won the day. 18 points to 16. Illawarra defeating St George in front of a crowd of 28,500.